The Iran Revolutionary Guards Corps, IRGC, has rejected U.S. President Donald Trump's claims that the war in the Middle East would end soon. In a statement, the IRGC said, and I quote, "It is we who will determine the end of the war. The equations and future status of the region are now in the hands of our armed forces. American forces will not end the war." The Iranian military said Tehran will not allow 1 liter of oil to be exported from the region if the U.S. and Israeli strikes continue. The Iranian military statement comes after Trump claimed that the conflict in the Middle East would end soon.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Iran, you called it an excursion. You said it would be over soon. Are you thinking this week it will be over?
No,
Are you talking
but soon.
about days?
I think soon.
Okay, and with respect
Very
to...
soon. Look, everything they have is gone, including their leadership. In fact, there are 2 levels of leadership, and even actually, as it turns out, more than that. But 2 levels of leadership are gone. Most people have never even heard about the leaders that they're talking about. So it's obviously been very, very powerful, very effective.
Thank you. Mr. President, you've said the war is, quote, very complete, but your defense secretary says this is just the beginning. So which is it, and how long should Americans be prepared
Well, I think
for
you could
this war
say
to
it
last
both.
for?
It's the beginning of building a new country, but they have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft equipment. It's all been blown up. They have no radar, they have no telecommunications, and they have no leadership. It's all gone. So, you could look at that statement. We could call it a tremendous success right now as we leave here. I could call it, or we could go further, and we're going to go further. But the big risk on that war has been over for 3 days. We wiped them out in the first 2 days.
You were going to waive certain additional oil waivers or sanctions. Can you talk a little bit more about that and address in particular?
Well, we're looking to keep the oil prices down. We went artificially up because of this excursion into a very positive thing. I mean, this was an excursion that a lot of people wouldn't have done. I knew oil prices would go up if I did this, and they've gone up probably less than I thought they'd go up. But I don't think anybody thought we were going to be this quickly successful.
The price of oil skyrocketed and showed no signs of halting its rapid climb a week after the war erupted. The conflict, in which nearly every country in the Middle East has sustained damage from missiles or drone strikes, has left ships that carry roughly 20 million barrels of oil a day stranded in the Persian Gulf, unable to safely pass through the Strait of Hormuz.
We are now well into the 2nd week of the war in Iran, and many questions remain about the future of this conflict. Israel and the U.S. have given no indication of how long their joint campaign will last. They've also been unclear about their day-after plans for whenever the war does end. Iran, meanwhile, is also sending some muddled messages. It demands an end to the war, but it shows no signs of backing down to the military pressure, and it continues to launch drones and missiles at targets across the region. All of this uncertainty is rippling around the world. Oil prices have shot up, stock prices have bounced around, and other countries are now signaling that they too could soon join the fight against Iran.
The oil prices have surged after Iran named Mujtaba Khamenei as the next supreme leader, succeeding his father, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who was killed in a U.S.-Israeli airstrike on February 28th. Amid the escalating oil prices, Iran continues to retaliate against Israel and the U.S., unleashing its full missile power.
Tensions in the Middle East continue to escalate as Iran signals a shift in its military strategy. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Aerospace Commander, General Mossavi, has announced a new war tactic, warning that from now on, Tehran will only launch missiles carrying warheads heavier than 1 ton. According to the IRGC commander, the frequency of missile launches will increase significantly, and the scope and range of attacks will also expand. The announcement suggests Iran could intensify its military response amid the ongoing confrontation involving the United States and Israel. Meanwhile, Iran's foreign minister Abbas Araghchi has warned that Tehran is fully prepared to counter what he described as malicious plots by Washington aimed at disrupting Iran's economic position during the conflict. In a post on social media platform X, Araghchi referred to the ongoing U.S. military campaign not as Operation Epic Fury, but as what he called Operation Epic Mistake, claiming the conflict has already triggered severe shocks in global markets. The Iranian foreign minister said that just days into the conflict, oil prices have surged dramatically while commodity prices continue to skyrocket. He alleged that the United States could be considering attacks on Iran's energy infrastructure in an attempt to control the economic fallout of the war. Araghchi warned that Iran is prepared for any such move and hinted that Tehran has its own strategic surprises ready. He also pointed to Iran's recent operations targeting U.S. military assets in oil-rich countries across the Persian Gulf. The expanding conflict has already sent shockwaves through global energy markets, with rising oil and natural gas prices fueling fears of wider economic instability. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump has reacted sharply to Iran's leadership transition, saying he is not happy with Mojtaba Khamenei becoming the country's new supreme leader. Speaking in a phone interview from Florida, Trump declined to reveal what action Washington might take next, but his remarks signal growing tensions between the two countries as the crisis deepens.
U.S. President Donald Trump has reacted sharply to Iran's leadership transition, saying he is not happy with the appointment of Mojtaba Khamenei as the country's new supreme leader. Speaking to the New York Post, Trump declined to reveal what actions Washington might take against the new Iranian leader. "Not going to tell you. I'm not happy with him," Trump said during a phone interview from his golf club in Florida, as per New York Times. The comments mark his first reaction after Mojtaba Khamenei officially replaced his father as Iran's supreme leader. Mojtaba Khamenei, the son of Ali Khamenei, was selected by Iran's powerful clerical body known as the Assembly of Experts. The 88-member council chooses the country's supreme leader, the highest political and religious authority in Iran. Ali Khamenei and his wife were killed last week in joint U.S. and Israeli strikes on Tehran, triggering a dramatic power transition in the Islamic Republic. Before the appointment, Trump had strongly criticized the possibility of Mojtaba taking power. The U.S. president described him as unacceptable and suggested Washington should have a role in approving Iran's next leader. Trump had previously warned that any successor chosen without U.S. approval might not last long. However, in his latest remarks, he stopped short of repeating earlier threats against Iran's leadership. Mojtaba Khamenei is widely seen as a hardline figure with close ties to the powerful Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Analysts say his rise could shape Iran's response to the ongoing military campaign involving the United States and Israel. In the months leading up to the strikes, Trump had also encouraged anti-government protests inside Iran, calling on the Iranian people to rise against the ruling theocracy. With Iran under new leadership, tensions between Washington and Tehran remain extremely high, and the question now facing the region is how the new supreme leader will respond to the escalating confrontation.